Jason Weidman with ScanSource. As you can see, we're coming to you today via Zoom video to talk about remote workforce solutions. So today, ScanSource brings together two individuals who have vast technology industry knowledge and expertise to discuss the potential issues and the potential opportunities that are possible during this huge ramp up of the number of people working from home today. So I'd like to introduce Kyle DeWitt, who is Vice President of Technical Services with ScanSource. And he's been with the company for 16 years, has a strong background in the communication technology space, and has served in various leadership positions within our technical services team. I'd like also to introduce Gerry Davis, who is Director of Solutions Engineering, and in 2016, he brought his more than 30 years of IT experience to the ScanSource Intelisys team. So welcome, Kyle and Gerry. On the subject of VPN and bandwidth, you know, we used to, I think at our homes, I think that kind of prime time between 6 p.m. and 9 p.m. it could get kind of backed up, and I think a lot of people are dealing right now with that maybe all day long. Can you guys dive a little deeper into that, and what are the best ways that businesses can ensure that remote workers have the bandwidth at home to accomplish to accomplish their daily workload and not experience as many interruptions throughout the day?
You mentioned something about bandwidth and infrastructure, some of the other parts and pieces to this. And I think that's one of the other things we've kind of figured out, you know, as more and more people, due to the virus this year, you know, as more people flock to the homes, and now we're having an influx of that, is a lot of the neighborhoods themselves are set up with coax or some sort of fiber connectivity of some sort out to the houses. You know, we're seeing that they're just inundated with a bunch of bandwidth that they're not normally accustomed to. So that's been another issue that we've kind of ran across. So having alternatives, having maybe a wireless backup to some sort, or maybe having the ability to call into your provider and add additional bandwidth if possible. Of course, the hard part is during this crazy time that we live in right now, you know, the hard part is getting somebody physically here to actually increase the bandwidth. If it's not here, in some cases, we're finding that you almost have to wait a little bit of time in order to add the additional bandwidth and capacity that you normally want to be able to have. But other things like, for instance, security, things of that nature, the ability to make sure that while I'm out of the house, I still am secure from a corporate perspective. So making sure that, for instance, you know, we've got a lot of providers out there that can provide remote access and provide a secure environment so they can go in and literally, you know, if they see traffic coming from or intended towards the corporate environment, it can encrypt that data automatically so it can actually go out and ensure that VPN type technology happens. But again, almost clientless, so it's a seamless experience for that end customer. And so that's the other piece that's also, you know, kind of cool about technology, but also something that's needed. You know, security is a huge thing now in today's environment. We see more and more people being hacked into. So making sure that data is secure, even though I'm physically here at the house, is also something that's a huge benefit for a lot of these suppliers out there that provide that sort of technology. So that's another piece of that. One of the things, obviously, with a lot of the SD-WAN providers, they can actually streamline and help, you know, optimize that traffic path, both in terms of, you know, where that traffic's headed. So again, the shortest hops out there in order to hit the back end networks of the corporations that are out there. But also they can help optimize from a bandwidth perspective, things like TCP streams, UDP streams, and allow that to happen much more quickly and effectively than maybe they could on their own. And again, they can add security. The other components of that I think is huge. And so those are a couple of the key things that I think that are huge in that environment. And of course, that remote access, be able to figure out if I'm sitting in the road today, that's one thing, but what if I'm sitting in a hotel room, you know, clear across the United States, you know, in 3 or 4 months when things return back to normal, the ability to kind of figure out that my local POP may not be coming all the way back to Greenville to begin with, but maybe I actually hit something up in, say, the San Francisco area if I'm on the West Coast, and then bring that traffic back if needed. So again, the ability to recognize, you know, for the road warriors out there, you know, the different options like that automatically to adjust accordingly, I think is huge, not only for in-house, but also, you know, as you return back to normal and you start traveling across the United States as well as across the world. So.
Yeah, and I know, Jason, you asked specifically about how businesses can help ensure that their remote workforce can stay productive. But the employees themselves have a lot more control over some of the infrastructure in order to work from home than you would think. So, anybody that's got internet access at home, they've got some kind of router. Usually, it's usually a Wi-Fi router, or at least something to terminate the connection. But even small office, home office, SOHO routers have the ability to log in and establish rules on peak usage for bandwidth. You can do some low-level quality of service where you can prioritize traffic from certain applications and deprioritize traffic from other applications. I know with my home office router, I have an app on my phone where I can pull it up and kill the access to any specific device on the network. So if I start having issues and I see there's an Xbox or a PlayStation in the other room that's consuming a whole lot of bandwidth, I can kill access to it immediately. Now, back to our distraction conversation, that creates a lot more noise than maybe just leaving it alone. But it's an option that as a home office worker that you've got. And the other thing that surprisingly comes up fairly regularly in the conversations I'm having now just with my peers about Wi-Fi at home. I keep hearing people say like, oh, I had to move my office from this place to this place in my house because of Wi-Fi. You can buy Wi-Fi extenders for very cheap, off the shelf, and they're very simple to set up, and you can extend the range of your local Wi-Fi connection inside your home fairly inexpensively, a lot cheaper than having to move your furniture around to build a new workspace. So there are a lot of things you can control yourself in that home environment to make sure that your infrastructure, bandwidth, et cetera, are all sufficient enough to work from home.
Well, that's great. And Kyle and Gerry, can't thank you guys enough for sharing your insights about how to make working from home as efficient and productive as possible. And we look forward to having more of these conversations in the near future. To anyone watching today, we want to let you know that ScanSource and Intelisys are not done supporting you. We know a lot of our partners are feeling the strain of the current challenges, and we're right there with you. So if there's anything we can do to support you, please reach out to either your Intelisys channel manager or your ScanSource account executive, or visit scansource.com/go-remote for additional information about our remote workforce solutions, as well as some valuable tips and even some free offers. So thanks for joining us today, and we hope to talk to you very soon. Bye.